The Sentinel is known to be reliable, fearless, disciplined, consistent, courageous, motivated, and skillful.
So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances.
All these qualities start from the mind. Your mind can be your worst enemy or your most powerful weapon.
The world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
Is this the dagger?
Learn how to achieve greatness and tap into the Sentinel mindset.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, we just kind of go in, eh?
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to this amazing day today. We have two incredible guests in the hospitality industry. We have Natalie Ho, National Director of Events for Oliver Bonacini brand. Okay. And we also have Tanya Mora. Mora.
Yeah.
See, I messed names
Rewind.
up. Yeah. You got Tanya Mora, and Tanya is the Director of Events for the Steam Whistle Brewery.
That's right.
Welcome. It's amazing to have two women here, two strong women that look over incredible events for our city. And we're gonna dive in today and just go over just everything. We're gonna just have a good time doing this. How are you guys doing? You guys doing well?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like spring is springing.
Yeah.
You know, it's on the way to being sprung.
Yeah.
And events feel like they're coming back. I don't know about you guys, but lately it just feels like we're moving forward, we're living life, and of course, you know, luckily that little hiccup was short-lived and we feel like we're back on track.
Did you just say the pandemic was a little hiccup?
No. Omicron was a hiccup.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
It was the hiccup that, you know, we didn't expect. We were shut down. We were, you know, at full capacity during the holidays. Like, it was mental, you know. I know for us, like July to December was insane. And then it was just full stop. And I think from my perspective, you know, we've lived through COVID now, and I remember during, like, you know, original COVID, you would get an email like, oh, you know, there's a case in the restaurant, or a guest has a case. This was like, the inbox was full.
Yes,
like, it would be like 20 emails, like cases, and you were just like, something is happening. Something's very wrong.
Yeah.
But feels like we're moving forward.
We felt it. We felt it too. I know. What about yourself?
So we're at March 2nd.
Yeah.
Yesterday, officially, the government, released all capacity restrictions, which is super exciting and really opens up our business. It's interesting to see how the leads that come in, how connected they are to government announcements. Right?
Okay.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's been really interesting to track over the last 2 years. So the government makes an announcement, and all of a sudden, the phones stop ringing.
Right.
Yeah.
Even for future business, right? 30 days, 60 days, no matter what the booking horizon is. March 1st came in, and we certainly had a huge influx of phone calls and emails. The level of optimism is directly connected to those announcements. Yeah. And I think that what we're seeing, especially in the corporate industry, is everyone is ready. They are ready. They cannot wait to come out. And large events. We're seeing huge events return. 1,000 people, 900 people, 5,000 people. Budgets are larger. People want to celebrate finally getting out again in a safe way.
Yes.
So it's and also, you know, with my team, they've been through so much, right? Right. Just so much ups and downs over the last 2 years, and it's been really hard to navigate through not giving an answer. I don't know when we can return. And so
everything, usually there's some TBD with any event, but it's almost
that's right.
The last 2 years have been
navigating through the unknown has been really challenging. And you know, the team, you can see the level of optimism that they have. And we're planning ahead for the first time in 2 years.
Right.
Yeah. We're actually putting pen to paper and planning ahead.
How does it feel that, you know?
We're back.
Yeah, it feels like...
Officially, guys, Toronto, the world, we're back.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like it didn't happen.
You said it right there.
I said it.
Have we forgotten? Like, maybe we have forgotten. You know, we're a resilient race, and it just feels like, we're just... That was then, and this is now, and it's really exciting.
To both your points, I think the world is ready to come back. I mean, I was yesterday.
So funny.
I was yesterday at a Raptors game,
and
it was full capacity.
Yeah.
And everyone there was explosively happy.
Oh,
like
for
it was
sure.
just happy to be around, happy to be out.
The giddiness is tangible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to me, 100%. I think in the same sense, since we're all in the hospitality industry as well, we're embracing this. I mean,
for sure,
this is the best time. So why don't we do this? Just because obviously we know about you guys, but for the audience, why don't we have an opportunity just to maybe speak a little bit about what you guys do, right? A little bit about yourselves, you know what I mean?
Cool.
How about we start off with you, Tanya?
Okay, so I've been in hospitality for the last 30 years. I started in catering with my grandmother. She was an Italian immigrant, and she taught me that being in service of others is the greatest gift. And that's how I lead. I lead with humility. I lead with the understanding that being in service of people is it's an honor. And so through catering, it got me through hotels, hotel management, and then into event management and specifically venues. And the great thing about venues, and the scariest thing about venue management, is there are so many partners and so many pieces that come together that you just don't have control over.
Yeah, right. The ultimate collab.
Right.
Right.
So there's so many pieces that come together to create this incredible experience. And so you have to make sure that you have good, solid partners that have the same level of commitment, same level of dedication, same level of service standards, because that's how you execute a really incredible event, right? And so without that, the whole system crumbles. And so when you see 10 vendors showing up within an hour, delivering and setting up, and it's all seamless, it makes it all worth it. Right. So that's what's kept me in venue management for so long. I've worked at a couple of really fantastic venues over the last 10 years, and now I'm at Steam Whistle Brewing, and the Roundhouse is a fantastic facility. We have 5 large event spaces there, and we're doing upwards of 400 events a year.
Amazing.
Everything corporate, weddings, socials, film shoots, and we have our own programming. So it's a different experience every single day. But the consistency is that we connect people.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
At a standard. I like that you see that.
We connect people, and that's whether it's through our vendor relationships, our client relationships, and the actual events that happen in our facility. So
that's good.
That's a great answer, Natalie. Now it's your turn.
How do I follow that?
You're up, girl.
Right?
Yeah.
So I've actually been with O&B for most of my career. I started as a host in one of our restaurants when I was in university, and I actually at the time wanted to be a high school history teacher, which probably would have been the wrong course for me in hindsight. I have way too much energy to be bound in a classroom.
It could have been a dynamic class, though.
It would have been, for sure. And I just fell in love with the restaurant industry, honestly. Like, I just thought that the buzz of being in a restaurant just matched my energy so well. And so I kind of progressed at O&B, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, like anyone in their 20s, and ended up working at the Cafe Grill at Jump as a server, and then decided, at that time we had about 5 people in our events department, and we were only booking private dining spaces within our restaurant. So it was a very small team. And I was like, I want to, I was planning my wedding. I was like, I can plan events. Let me go be in the events department. So of course. So yeah, they hired me on at the Board of Trade, which is like one of our first venues. And that for me, it was the job for me. Like, it was effortless. It was fun. I loved everything about it, and so that began my career in events, and that was about 12 years ago. And I, got to grow with O&B. For those that know O&B well, know that we have exploded really quite a lot in the past 10 years. So I was able to open a lot of venues for O&B, open the Arcadian, transition the Carlu. And now I'm the director, and we operate in multiple cities across Canada. I was just in Halifax last week, which is where we're opening about 8 restaurants right now.
Wow, amazing. Shout out to Halifax.
They were lovely. It was a wonderful city. Lots of great restaurants at the Queen's Mark. So it's so crazy to me to have gone from clearing tables at the Cafe Grill, and then, being in Calgary and being on a call with a team in Saskatchewan and I'm just like, how did this come to be? And it's so dynamic, it's so interesting. No day is the same, and I think because under my portfolio, I have restaurants and venues and catering and, you know, a ton of new business lines that we're introducing because of COVID. So yeah, it is my life's work.
Yes.
I am obsessed with it. I'm never going anywhere. So yeah, and I just, O&B is me. I don't know how else to describe it.
No, that's good. That's good.
So super happy.
There's your new
O&B is me.
That's my slogan.
Yeah.
I'm just
that'll fit on a license plate, I think.
Yeah.
That's right, it would.
like a catering van now.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so to me, I mean, like, it's obvious, the passion. I love it, right?
Yeah.
It's oozing out. Like, for anyone who's listening out there, wherever you are, Halifax and beyond, it's so good to connect with people. We thoroughly enjoy always, you know, talking. Whenever Tanya and I are talking, we know if we don't stop, there's always something to hit, something else to attack.
Totally.
Because of passion, the passion of what you're doing.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of touch on what you said to Grandma. Right? She didn't want to be called Nona, I remember. Didn't you say that?
Oh, that was my mom. My mom didn't want to be called Nona.
It was your mom. It was your own
but
mom.
my grandmother
But it
definitely
was okay.
wants to be called
But
Nona.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
Right from there, she showed you the, what is it? Not even that, you said humility. We also talk about in our circle, there's a nobility to serve.
Yeah.
Right? And that the true heart of someone, because it's so easy to be served. Anyone can be.
Yeah.
And there's a great quote I remember from Muhammad Ali, who at the time when he was like larger than life, he was one of the most iconic athletes, people in the world. And he said, I don't trust someone who smiles at me, but not our waiter.
Yeah.
Okay, because everyone, it's amazing, right? Because everyone smiled at him because he's Muhammad Ali. But, you know, to unbox that, the person who's serving, everyone deserves to be treated equally.
100%.
Right?
For sure.
You know what I mean? So for us, I mean, look, we're in security. We know the industry, it can, you know, we've talked about this at length, it can be pretty delinquent. Is there a standard sometimes?
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes there's a standard.
There is, but for the most part, you have to kind of create that bar. And one of the things that I like about what you're both saying is that, you know, we say it all the time within our organization, but it's like the servant leadership mentality, right? And think about what you guys are doing every day. You're trying to create an experience for someone to leave and be like, I had a wedding here, I had an event here, I did this, I did that. And it's just what they leave with. The only people that can create that is us, is you guys. There's the only people that can create that, right?
Well, look at the formula that if you give, you get back, right?
Of course.
You know, it's in some ancient books.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Michael.
Yeah.
Interrupting on the podcast.
It's all good. Look, come on.
No, you have to interrupt.
This is what it is.
Oh, you do?
Part of this is who can eat first.
It's layers. It's not parallel.
Just past stage one.
Layers.
Thanks, guys. You really embraced me
We're
there.
like an advanced podcast where people can choose which audio feed they want to listen to.
Oh my God. I love it.
Yeah.
I was just going to
a
say,
good idea,
so Peter Oliver, our owner, one thing that makes him, you know, he is truly the most dynamic leader I've ever met. And his thing was, he would say to everybody, and he remembered most of the employees' names. I mean, the company was smaller then, but he would say to a dishwasher, you know, Paval, you are the most important person in this company.
Wow.
And that was, but he believed it. That was, he wasn't just, you know, paying lip service. And it's so true. It's like at every level of the organization, every individual is, you know, the sum of the part, and it's like they're all just so important. So I think that, to your point,
it's
and
amazing.
You know, it's not about overlooking certain individuals. It's just like seeing the value that everyone brings to the table.
That's so key, and that dishwasher will be the best dishwasher he can possibly be. I mean, when you said that, it reminded me of like Fred Rogers. I mean, you know, Mr. Rogers, he basically did the exact same thing. He made people feel like they were the most important person they were talking to, right? So.
Well, with events, you know, what my team and I always remind each other about is that we're holding a baton.
Yes.
It's a journey, right? And so the salesperson starts off, and they'll catch that baton when the lead comes in, and then they'll pass off to the coordinator, and that coordinator's got to grab that baton, and they're going through, and then when the event's happening, the venue supervisor holds onto that baton, and then the bartender is holding on to that baton,
in that moment.
And the server and the coat check attendant, and every single person touches this same baton.
Yes.
And then the circle continues.
Right.
So every single person is responsible for making sure that that baton stays off the ground.
That's right.
And that's how you win the race.
Yeah, that's it.
Right?
That's it. It's a team effort.
That's it. And then the circle continues.
And I think too, COVID has really made people more understanding of what others go through, I think, and also really come to appreciate and value the work that we do more. You know, to have not seeing a server for 12 months knowing they'd been laid off and then they're back in the restaurant, it's like the best feeling.
Absolutely.
To know that like we're back together, you know, that we've endured this really challenging time, and that like it's just more of a collective effort and understanding. I don't know if you guys feel that way.
Which is great.
Yeah, and also the humanity's been brought back to the workplace, right?
Yes.
Having meetings, virtual meetings, you're in someone's home.
That's right.
Sometimes
Sometimes
you know, someone's coming in from their bedroom, or
That's
their kids
right.
are walking by in their diapers.
That's right.
So true.
And you're like, oh, okay, so that's what you're experiencing when you leave work.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So the humanities more integrated in the workplace now, and we're all better for it.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Both directors here, both oversee operations, and we can all see, even us, there's one thing that we have in common, there's a formula, and that's the formula that we use to kind of create a successful, I guess, experience. Now, with that being said, we just had 2 years of, everything being flipped upside down. And we just, as you said, now, March 2nd, we're ready to kind of come back into the mix. Everything that we talk about on this show is mindset, getting the mindset ready to kind of get you to the next mix. Now, right now, there's a lot of challenges. Now, specifically in the hospitality industry, I know every industry is being hit, but in the hospitality industry, it seems like the challenges have been amplified, right? Staffing. Rebuilding events. I mean, the amount of people we've had to say no to because, we're not there to meet their demands has been significantly high, and it's a domino effect because it all starts with the people, right? With that all said, what are you guys using mindset-wise to kind of like help you navigate now into this new territory? Because right now the business
empathy.
Is going to be okay, empathy. Okay.
100%. Sorry to interrupt, but it's the first thing that came to my mind, and you have to lead with empathy in these situations. We have no idea the impact of the last 2 years on every single individual. Some people have, the entire spectrum of impact, right? And that doesn't just go away because the door's open.
Right.
So true.
So when we're saying, okay, it's go time. It's hustle time. Let's get our game face on. It's not that simple, right? We've at Steam Whistle, we've implemented wellness days for part-time workers.
Nice.
Wow, that's amazing.
So there's a certain amount of days per year. If you are not able to come to work, and I don't even want to know the reason.
Right.
You don't have to tell me the reason. That's your personal business. But if you're not able to come to work for whatever reason, you're having a hard day or something in your family's. Why should you be penalized? They rely on those the hourly wage.
That's awesome.
Right? So we've implemented that this year because we've recognized that gig workers, part-time workers, they need to rely on a source of income, and that can't evaporate because of some personal issue that's happening, and everyone has them.
Right.
Yeah,
Right?
very true. Yeah.
So it's small efforts like that, and I say small efforts because we can continue to do more,
Yes.
and we will continue to do more. But that's just one way that we're leading with empathy.
That's
awesome.
amazing.
And we encourage our team. Tell us what you need.
Yeah.
What do you need? Sometimes if you're coming to work and maybe you're not as dialed in, and maybe you don't want to be so client facing on that day. Okay, so we'll make some adjustments. There are some back of house roles perhaps we can shift. So it's acknowledging that the impact on everyone is different.
Okay.
We've got to be, and sorry for the buzzword of 2021, but we've got to be more agile as leaders.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
Yeah, that's really good.
Absolutely true.
Yeah, great answer.
Yeah, I mean,
Thanks, Natalie.
on this exact stage, we actually had Dr. Brian Goldman. I'm not sure if you guys know him. He wrote a book, The Power of Kindness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I forget he also has a CBC radio show.
Yes.
And it was about empathy. He was
Yeah.
accused of not having empathy as a doctor in Emerge. An entire family who was essentially really struggling through, the mother of the family going through illness. The whole family went up to him and said, you're unkind.
Wow.
Okay, because he's on autopilot, just doing the job.
Yeah.
And he said it stopped him in his tracks. It hit him where it needed to hit him. He wrote this book. He went through this whole journey. So many people have benefited. So he's like a really huge voice within hospitality and specifically healthcare. Okay, so again, empathy. Like we talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
You know? It's funny, you didn't say the plan going forward is your conversion strategy. You know what I mean? Right? You know,
yeah, talk to me 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That would have been at the top of the list.
Yeah. I think it's great. I mean, have you felt like, you know, kind of extending what Constantine's question was to yourself, you know, how are you looking? What is your mentality kind of going into this new future? So maybe we've broken out of the clouds now. Yeah. Now you can kind of like set a path. I mean, you guys have a lot of growth happening. Yeah. What do you think needs to happen for you and your team?
Yeah, so my buzzwords have been like voyage and return. So I'm entering this with sort of like a curiosity about how the industry has changed, how people have changed. People have changed. We can't just go back and say like, oh yeah, that didn't happen, you know. So it's how do we understand how our clients' needs have changed, how their tastes have changed, what kind of foods do people want to eat now, how do they want to eat it, you know. So I think we're coming at it really trying not to make assumptions about what we're doing and really just staying open to the way that things will continue to evolve and change. And I think that also includes our workforce, because I am with Tanya 100% that we've seen really big leaps and bounds in a commitment from our organization to, you know, honoring people's mental health and really just caring about that in a different way than we have before. So I think, it's about staying curious, staying open to what does this new world of our industry look like? Yes. What do our clients need? What do our staff need? And I think for us, you know, we did a really big cultural sort of like a deep dive during COVID. We really took the opportunity to look at ourselves as leaders and to look at our team and say, you know, how can we make this like the best place to work? You know, and so we've rebuilt with the help of the team that was there, sort of these new like we call them like I statements, so the individual's commitment to what they bring to the team every day. And we're really trying to lean into that and just say like, you know, you have to bring your best self to work every day. You have to bring your role. Exactly. Right? Like your contribution really matters. And so hopefully I think, you know, it all does start with the team. It all does start with having people that are passionate about being there, that we're all working together to what we're trying to accomplish. So I'm staying open, I'm staying curious.
It's so cool.
And I think we're gonna have a lot of fun doing it that way.
Look, I'll tell you this, you know, I was actually thinking about this as you guys were both talking. Has COVID brought a lot of bad, but COVID also brought perspective. And COVID could also bring potentially good, depending on point of view and just the way you look at things, right? For us, again, when COVID hit us, it obviously made us stop, think, and be like, maybe we need to look at some other things, right? And maybe look at some other elements of what we can do our business, make it even better, adapt, evolve. It seems like both answers here, there's an element of evolving, adapting, which will pretty much make the brands even better.
Oh, for sure.
You know growth happens in stillness.
Right.
So true.
And we were halted.
Yeah.
And there was no choice but to grow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, when your back's up against a wall, you get real creative.
Oh yeah.
Especially in sales. Like I'm like, I think my, you know, we were running a grocery division, and because we're catering, we were able to actually create a pretty robust like virtual events program. Which was fun and you know, really creative and different. But I'll never forget, I think I sold like a bottle of San Pellegrino and a juice. Like it was like literally the lowest sale anyone had ever made. And I was like, this needs to be framed. Like this is, I never want to forget the day that I sold $17 and that was a good day. You know, and I think pre-COVID it was like you took for granted that you made like a $200,000 sale, you know, and then you're like, well, now I'm peddling cheese. And that was awesome because I sold a lot of cheese today. Just perspective and just, I don't know, I think like, I don't want to lose that like raw creative energy that you get from being backed into a corner and being like, how do we get out? You know?
It's said that creative genius is birthed out of limitation.
Totally. And just using the resources you have. So I think that's hopefully a mentality that we can maintain coming out of this, is almost like backing ourselves back into the corner and saying, guys, what do we need to do next that like is, you know, if we didn't have any of this, if tomorrow we got shut down again and there was no way to make money, what are we missing? You know, where are the opportunities lying? So I think that was like great learning opportunity as a leader to really have to figure out.
That's it, and I'm pretty sure. Like, I mean, if you guys want to share this, I think it'll be amazing as well. Because again, this is not a COVID chat, by the way. This is just about what things are moving towards to right now.
Sure.
But I think, like, I mean, I can speak for myself. It changed me. It changed me a lot in the way I'm thinking. It actually broke me down first. Like, it literally broke me down, and then I had to kind of rebuild myself. Or be just left in shambles, right? So who I am today as an individual, I'm even stronger. My mind is more open. Again, I love the thing that you said about empathy. That's huge because for us, that was actually a big piece of our journey as well, is leading with empathy. And because we jumped into healthcare as well, that's a huge piece where you need that, right? So
we kind of phrase it empathetic protectors.
Yes,
that's kind of something that we did.
Yeah, because when you're leading with empathy, your approach changes, and people respond in a different way. It doesn't mean that you're still not achieving the result.
For sure.
But there's a safety that the person who's receiving your message feels when you're leading with empathy.
Right.
And, ultimately, in our business and in your business, we're in the business of making sure that people are safe, right? Sure. Our meetings, we lead with health and safety first, because that's the most important. It doesn't matter what your drink tastes like if the fire exit is blocked.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, so we still have to enforce those the law, the rules, the parameters, the boundaries, and achieve an excellent event and a memorable experience and all of those things. And when you approach someone and share what those rules and boundaries are, the delivery makes all the difference. And if you're coming from a place of, I'm in control, you're not going to receive compliance. You have to be empathetic to that person's experience while still maintaining those boundaries.
That's right.
And even with my staff, what I've noticed since we've been able to thankfully bring the team back, they are voicing their own views of safety and capacity. Like, I have my team coming to me saying, you know what, I'm at capacity right now. I've got to drop a ball to maintain, just a healthy level for myself.
Right.
And they're coming to me with an empathetic approach, and I'm receiving it with empathetic approach. It's not, you can't fulfill your duty, you can't do your job. It's, I'm aware of my capacity. And this is where I am, and how do we adjust?
That's good.
We didn't have these conversations before.
But you're also like, but we don't have more staff, so let's increase that a little.
No.
You dial it up, but I hear
100%. But it's
it's a thing.
But it's great. But then we have to review our policies, our procedures, our practices. Can we create some efficiencies?
Totally.
Right?
100%.
So that the conversation shifts because we're empathetic to their experience as a worker.
So
we're not looking at the role. We're looking at the individual.
So true.
Who's in that role.
Now, what would you say to that individual? So, again, both of you guys have done a great job. We've been very fortunate that we've been able to not just survive, but thrive coming out of this, okay, as we were kind of talking about before. To the person who's still on the sideline, still not sure, still really worried about their parents, they've been off, they've been on the sideline for a while, and rightly so. Just imagine, forget all the judgment, and everyone has opinion on everything. What do you say to the person who embodies great potential? They were, they worked at maximum capacity. They were a heavy lifter, air quotes for those listening, before. Now, they're not. They're not ready. They're like, what would you say to them?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, and I think...
I'm glad I didn't get it.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't tell them to just figure it out, that's for sure. I think you have to be really respectful to the individual's limitations, but not making them feel limited. And especially when you're dealing with someone who does struggle with mental health, challenges, whether it's anxiety, depression, things like that. I think for me, I always say, like, you got to put ACEs in their places. That is, I'm very committed to finding the right role for every individual. So, and helping them understand why maybe this is just a temporary thing in order to help support them through a period or a season in their life, right? So I think that if I had somebody who maybe was in a role that they just aren't able to reach the capacity of, then I would say, how can we change the role? You know, what other support do we have that's available to us that we can kind of shift around? Like I found one of the things that, again, COVID really forced us to do was to utilize our resources across the nation. So luckily for me, you know, I have a team member in Saskatoon who's phenomenal, and, you know, they were really quiet. So I was like, hey, you want to help? And she's like, I do. I was like, great.
Yeah.
You're in charge of the Carlu. You don't live here.
Right.
Like, you can do everything virtually, you know? And so I think it's also like giving other people an opportunity to shine. And we saw so many wonderful things coming out of saying, hey, this isn't in your box, but are you cool stepping out of your box? And people are like, yeah, 1,000%, you know? So I think it's like, really creatively trying to utilize the resource that you do have, pushing for greater resources. I think our leadership team understands that people are changed. The workforce has changed. We will need more resources, I think, to get the job done.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Also, the booking horizon is shorter.
This is true.
Right.
The lead times are shorter. Like, it's a pressure cooker. You also have inexperienced team members in the pressure cooker. So it's really bubbling.
Yes.
But I think for the individual who just doesn't have that same capacity, and you know, I've managed people who have come back from long-term illness. I think it's something that we don't do well. We don't really take people into consideration and say, how have you changed? How has this changed you? And what do you need now in order to succeed, you know? And I think it's the same thing. It's like, if you see somebody who is really struggling, it's just like, I'm here to support you. This is not a demotion. This is just like, how do we make sure you feel really good about what you're contributing every day? And kind of go from there. But
you might have been an ace of hearts, now you're an ace of spades, but there's a place for you, right?
Oh, 1,000%.
They might have a whole
Smooth,
total different.
Michael.
I love it. That's a great line. I made I see the T-shirt already.
O&B is me, and I got a whole. So that's what I would say, and I think, you know, you ask like, how has COVID changed us as individuals, and I think it has changed me as a leader, like a complete, you know, 180 of just, like you said, the things that you focus on. You know, I think for me, I have come to, my love for hospitality has deepened. Like,
amazing.
I think I really took it for granted before, and what the industry meant to our city. What it is, like, it is actually everything. It is our life. It is our aliveness. It is our connection. Like, it is all the things, you know? And so I think I just sunk really deep into, like, this is the coolest thing ever. I'm part of something that means so much to so many people. And so, for me, it really just deepened my love for the business, and which is like, how's that even possible? Like, for O&B. And just like really coming to be focused on things that matter.
Like, it's great. Like, I know quite a few people who would grumble about their service industry. Oh man, this guy, this waiter, and then now it's kind of shifted because they were gone for so long.
Oh gosh,
And then I started to hear people, what about those people who work in hospitality? What are they doing to pay their bills? We need to open this up. And so maybe if one thing, at least for now, some of those roles that were taken for granted, that you know, that we understand their value, that in some weird way, people value them, and they come in and it's festive, and it's just like they're in a restaurant and they love to see the hostess, and the hostess is like, hey, can you guys just wait a second? Yeah, sure. Could we wait inside? Okay, maybe in my mind.
No, I think it is like that for the most part, as long as, you know.
Doesn't have to go. We can just kind of ride it out, and it's another repeat of the Roaring 20s. Remember we were talking about that? That when it's dampened, but now that it's like, okay, let's go crazy. Right?
Well, I think too, now that like vaccine passports, like as the rules are lessening, and I'm sure you guys will experience this as well.
Was there rules?
Oh my God, there's so many rules. You know, being the enforcer of the rules is not good times, and I think that we were so lucky to partner with you guys, because you really took the brunt of that, right? And doing it again, coming back to empathy in a way that's like gracious and saying, we understand, you know, However, this is implemented by the government and all these things, right? So I think now that we're not going to have to do that as much. I mean, masks are still a thing, we all know.
For now,
and more and more people are angry about it, as, from what I can tell. But yeah, just like now that the host can just be like, hey, come on in, you know, like, no, you don't have to do this screening and this QR, and like, where's your back seat?
That's right.
You know, like the 17-step process before you get to your table.
That's right.
I think there will be that much more, you know, jovialness surrounding
that's
that
the word.
experience.
Jubilee, jovial, I love it. Yeah, like, good words.
Yeah, and also, but the staff, the vendors, the you know, bartenders, servers, coat check, hostess, supervisors, everyone in that room.
Shout out to the barbacks in the industry.
Barbacks,
love those barbacks
kitchen
and
staff,
their biceps,
chefs,
you know.
Right?
Everyone who's making the dream happen. It's not just it's like even their own feeling about coming to work. Right? There's a
it's a community
we had some team members that didn't feel safe coming to work. Right? And we had to make adjustments, and we had to, and you know, rightfully so. And so coming into work feeling like it's a safe environment is now new again.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So true.
So, you know, we put so much focus and attention on health and safety, and even it varies. People's level of safety varies depending on what they're dealing with at home. How they interpret the information on the news. Right? Because you could see you can see a government announcement, and sometimes they're vague. I'm not 100% sure what that means. Am I safe to go to work?
That's right.
Do I have to wear a visor? Is my employer, like, all of these questions are happening with all of our team members that are walking into the facility.
That's right.
But we're saying, okay, but you have to screen them and make sure that they're safe. Well, they have their own feelings that they're experiencing. Right? And so we have to really be mindful that everyone's impacted in all these tiny little different
Remember
ways.
the glasses? Did you guys have the glasses
We
for
sure
a
did.
minute?
We had the goggles,
But that was like weirdly, it was like, you should be doing this, but it wasn't like really a thing. So then, but those look cool. I thought those were like kind of rad. I was like, can I get a pair of
I think they realized they couldn't manufacture them in time. Whatever, right? Just look, people.
It was like a half effort for sure, but they look cool. I was like, yo, I like your shades.
Over the course of the next couple of weeks, you guys are going to experience a floodgate of business coming down the pipe. Okay, people booking events.
Like, must you?
I know.
That's
I gotta go.
future me problem.
We don't know how you're sitting here.
Right?
Yeah,
we look so calm.
I know, but it's gonna happen. And
it's gonna
at the end of the day, we're like looking at it the exact same way as your response was.
For sure.
But then it's like kind of a blessing too, right? In the sense of it is happening. But with that being said, you mentioned the word safety. And a lot of people that are going to be coming to the venues are going to, you know, first of all, there's going to be, I think, 3 groups of people. Your first group of people will be those that have been really in that bubble of just not leaving. And then for them, they're going to want to know, hey, if I'm going to go here, is this going to happen? Do I have to do so this is that first group. The second group of people are going to be those that are going to just want to come out. They can't wait. They can't wait. And then the third set of people will be people that will be like...
wanting to make a point?
Well, you know, I mean, it can be almost like either absolutely no or absolutely yes. Now, with that said, all we can do is create a peace of mind, a very nice environment. How important is safety going to be in your perspective? It doesn't have to be just a COVID thing right now. This could be like the general safety, security of your venue space.
It's paramount. It's paramount. When I walk into a room as a venue operator, I look at the fire exits. I look to see if there's anything that is, you know, if there's something up against a wall, is it affixed to a wall? That's the space empty. When you add people, there's a whole other level of safety and security and you know, laws to enforce, and it's our main focus. And again, you know, we have some clients that are calling saying, well, will you still enforce the vaccination requirement even though the government has lifted it?
Right.
Can you?
Right.
Will you?
Right.
And you know, those are conversations we have internally as a company. You know, the government is leaving it up to the individual organizations to make those calls, but you know, just it's challenging.
Right.
It's challenging, but safety has to be paramount.
That's
and
right.
As I just mentioned, sometimes safety is up to the individual. That's what the situation we're in now. And we will always continue to do what the government advises us to do.
Yeah.
If they say that the goggles are required at a particular time, we will do that. We will check vaccinations. We will adhere to all of those things. But I think the shift now, because we don't have these restrictions, is going to be a little bit different, more emotional.
Yes.
It's going to be more emotional safety.
Right.
How am I feeling about being in a room again with 1,000 people?
Yes.
I haven't been in a room with 1,000 people in 2 years.
Right.
How does that feel? What are the anxiety levels?
That's right.
What was it like being at the Raptor game?
19,800?
Yeah.
I mean,
right?
Did it feel normal again?
Other than the fact that they were blasting on the screens every probably 10 minutes, take your mask off, put your food, put your mask back on. It's like
still,
a sequence.
There is still.
You get one chance. The security looks at you and gives you one chance. Next chance, you're asked to leave. Now, I didn't see anybody leave, and I saw a lot of people that just didn't have the mask on.
Enforcement's another thing.
Enforcement's a huge thing right now, and I'm like, my son was asking me, he goes, how can they throw people out? Like, I go, it's more of something to kind of keep you in line. Because to try to get that many people out of the stadium would be very difficult. But
for sure.
Yes, there is, but 100%. But being in there, it was wonderful. It was amazing for myself. However, I know other people would have a very different reaction. Very, very different reaction, because it's not like COVID just disappeared. It still exists.
Yes.
But for the individual that maybe looks at it in a very different way, you got to look at his thoughts as well and how it gets processed.
And so, as the gatekeepers, Sentinel now you have a whole level of training to layer on to all the other training that you're doing so well.
That's right.
Which is why the large venues choose you, quite frankly, is because we know we don't have to worry.
So true.
No, for sure.
That's the truth. I go to bed at night knowing that I don't have to worry about the people in that room.
No, that's good. And for us, it's about creating that peace of mind.
Yes. I do have a peace of mind, but then now there's a level of training that you have to add on where, so we don't have these strict COVID restriction rules to adhere to. However, now you have to deal with people's emotions around being in public again.
That's right.
The anxiety levels.
That's right.
Yeah.
So there's a different attention.
So I'm feeling like people are going to drink.
Yes.
I do think we're going to see.
Yes.
I mean.
Yeah.
Just people are going to be jovial. We've talked about that. I think we're going to see alcohol consumption going up, and of course we always want to be serving very responsibly, but that is like a collective effort on all of our parts to have to be managing and monitoring, because not only I don't want to talk about people's tolerances. I mean, I know people also drink a lot at home, but there's just going to be this sense of being out, and I think people are going to go mental.
Yes.
I would dance on a table at this point. Put me on. Coffee table, sure.
Boisterous is the proper word.
I just think there's this sort of the
not
mood.
table dancing. That's not the word. Okay, so we're gonna edit that part.
Where are we on Thursday night?
No, I mean,
I'm gonna be honored to be kicked out by you.
No, but I agree. I 100% agree. I think people want to come out and just have fun right now.
We know about some stuff percolating, 50,000 people.
Wow.
And it's 50,000 people. Oh yeah, man, each month we're going to be doing this. And and it's going to come back. And I totally agree. People are going to go a little...
People might go a bit crazy.
Yeah, they're going to go, again, we say the roaring 20s, they might be going, raving mad a little.
So I think we just have to be prepared for that, right? And really just prepare our staff, and maybe it's retraining on certain things to look for. And
that's another thing. Staffing ratios will change. Right? Managing and monitoring things, staffing ratios will change. More security may be required. Your overall bill may go up.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Perfect. We're going to use that in our next correspondence.
I don't mean the bill you give me. But
but it's true. To what you're saying,
adjustments have to be made.
100%. I mean, I think I just overheard you guys saying that the interest rate went up 25 points. I mean, everything. The cost of everything is going up, right?
Sure.
And I think we'd be foolish not to look at it and be like, we look back to 2019. 2019 was a very different year. We're in a very different setup right now, and
labor is more expensive.
It is.
People are looking to be paid more.
That's right.
Because I think COVID has also changed what people want to do with their time, and so I do
very
think
much.
we have to adjust for that, and I feel that starting salaries have increased over the past 2 years significantly, and we're also in sort of like the candidates market, right? Like there's a lot of job opportunities available for people. So
that's right.
Yeah, I think our rates have to reflect the fact that we are paying people more money now.
That's right.
So yeah, I think everyone should expect costs to go up across the board. Not only is like food more expensive, gas is more expensive, labor's more expensive. Like that will just be the thing.
Yeah. Now, for everyone listening, because I know in the security industry, our rates obviously have they increase yearly because we really try to take care of our people as best we can possibly can.
For sure.
However, for people listening, to increase your rates, it has to translate to the service. And I can tell both the Olive Bonacini and the Steam Whistle brand, you guys give kick-ass events, and the venues are gorgeous. So for me, to do price increases falls in line with the experience.
For sure.
For those that are out there saying, I'm going to just increase my pricing, because I know other security entities that have spoken to me, we want to do what you're doing, Constantine, we want to increase our rates. I'm like, but you have to give that same type of service. It has to match.
It's so true.
Right?
It's like upgrading from a standard beverage to a premium beverage.
Right,
So
exactly.
true. It's the same thing.
That's right.
Right? There's a few more dollars, but that vodka's going to be smoother.
Yes.
For me, and especially, in the security business, it does make a significant difference. Like you can really tell the difference when you 100%. Invest in a higher end company versus a lower end company, and the quality of service that you get. And I know, from our conversations in 2020 and all of that, I think just learning about your services and understanding the approach you took, it felt so right for me in the context of COVID, right? Because again, we're dealing with very sensitive stuff. This isn't just like, hey, I need to, maybe pre-COVID, like I need to remove you because you're being, insane or whatever, and you need to leave. Now it's just like, hey, you need to wear your mask when you go to the washroom, like those gentle reminders. And I just think to have like a hospitality approach in that, to be able to relieve our general manager of Canoe who's trying to like get service and meet to the table and not having to deal with people taking selfies with their masks off, like that was huge, because that was so challenging for our on-site teams, right? They're trying to manage so many things. So I just think having a partner who has sort of that like empathetic hospitality approach, looks great in a suit, matches the brand of our establishment. You can't put a price on that. Because it's part of the guest experience.
That's right.
And it's what people remember when they walk away.
That's good.
Yeah, and
That's good.
security is the first touch point that the guests have with the venue,
Really?
with the experience.
Okay.
Well,
they're at the access point. They're at the door.
You're the first person that you see, hear, right? The body language, the eye contact,
They set the tone.
the tone.
Right.
Yes.
Sure. That, like when you walk up to someone's home, you walk up to the door and you walk in, you get the smell of the room, you see the lighting, what are the sounds that are happening. That's what the security guard represents.
That's right.
Absolutely.
For an event.
That's right.
So
if their head's down and they're checking ProLine scores and they're just like, just go to the end of the hall.
100%.
Yeah, it sets the
There
tone.
you go. This
The
is that
worst
special
too
event.
is like the security outfit.
Yes.
Like I just think.
Go in on that. Come on.
Well,
I
I mean,
Yeah.
I understand if no, I don't understand. There's
Yeah.
no excuse.
Yeah.
There's
We're-
absolutely no excuse for that outfit.
No,
I think
for sure.
like
Look, we're usually fighting with our clients, new clients.
where
Where they're like, we just want a guy in a t-shirt. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
We provide suited quality individual guards, and we tell them the psychology of the suit, the presentation, and the brand, and all that. But a lot of them sometimes are part of the problems, I guess, because they're not looking at it from the eyes of the psychology way. Basically, your experience coming into something, like your first
you're
impression.
not at the mall.
Yeah.
You're at the Steam Whistle.
Yeah.
You're entering this like beautiful high-end event. You're in a tuxedo in a gown. It doesn't fit the experience at all. I don't think there's any. You look at security, like in movies or like I want to be with the guy who's protecting the president.
Right.
Like, I want the security detail.
Yeah.
it's like a plate of food.
Totally.
Your executive chef is in that kitchen. He is focused on every single plate, making sure that asparagus is completely lined up with the. Sure, you can put it on the plate and the steak and the asparagus just
it's all there, man. It's all there, and it all goes in one spot anyway.
But it's not. It's the beauty and the art of the presentation, and you're eating with your eyes at first, right? So when that plate comes out from OMB for a wedding in our locomotive hall, someone's looking at it going, wow.
Yeah. To me, it has to fit the brand of where you are, and it has to flow into the experience. And so to me, there's no question in my mind that like who we have to work with when it comes to security.
When you were saying that, I just remember one of our clients is TIFF. We had a chance to do a tribute gala when they did their inaugural one a couple of years ago. And they basically closed off an interior red carpet in the Royal York. Okay. And in this beautiful ballroom, all the doors, double doors were closed. And we had security making sure that everyone that was in attendance, and there's a lot of the celebrities that were there as well, and producers, that they could not access this red carpet till the appropriate time. Again, it's not security, but we had on radio basically choreographed that when the call was made over the comm, that all the doors were opened by security. And it was like a grand reveal, and as lights went down in one room, they opened up in another, and the music flooded, and people oohed and awed, and it's again, as long as we're not compromising our role, we love those kind of creative. Where can we get creative here? How can we like really establish something really great? We tell our teams, you know, it kind of comes from my pops. My dad would always say to me, if you want to be proud in what you do, take pride in what you do. I'm proud that I can say my kids have picked that up. They take pride in how they wash the dishes. They wash the dishes now, and they say, they'll go, Dad, come. And they'll show me the dish rack, right? We don't have a dishwasher, and I think it would be a damn shame if we did. Because, no joke, they literally, their eyes light up, and they want to see, like, do we approve of how they've laid the dishes to dry?
Nice.
Okay?
Yeah, just about kids, I don't know where I read this, but, you know, we always say to our children, I'm really proud of you. The shift of, you must be proud of yourself.
Love that.
Is huge.
It's true.
Because you take that
Yeah,
internally.
Yeah.
And so it shifted. And I started saying that to my daughter. And when you say, you must be really proud of yourself, she perks up. She's like, actually I am.
Because she carries that wherever she goes now.
She carries that wherever she goes.
She doesn't
it's
need
not
the
connected
validation
to me.
and the approval.
It's connected to her.
That's amazing.
And that's also with our service, right?
So true.
Yeah.
I'm not serving you because I want to feel good. I'm serving you because I legitimately want to hear out of your mouth, this was an amazing event.
Right.
Yes.
I had a great experience. You picked the right partners.
Right.
Yeah.
When they walked into the room, that security guard made me feel welcome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's that taking the pride internally for those small actions.
I'm
And it's
remember
the
that.
small actions that make the difference.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Right?
All those little
the small-
details.
Because what you just described with the TIFF and the red carpet, and here I am thinking to myself, oh my gosh, the logistics that have to go.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The amount of people that were on those headphones to make that, the coordination, it must have taken a month to figure out how do we get the levels of the lights. And, But nobody knows that there was work put into it because all the work was put into it.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
right.
And every single aspect of that planning, everyone was passing that baton over.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
every single person had to care because they were proud of when they got the baton.
That's good.
And that's what they were focused on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, that's why I'm in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Right?
Yeah.
That's good. Well, look, I wanted to say this. I'm genuinely happy that you guys both came down here. Before we wrap and do our shout outs, how do you guys know each other?
Yeah.
Oh, well, our kids.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't actually think we met before Liberty Prep.
We've known
of each other, but
we
our
know by
kids,
email, we know by connection.
Yeah, our
we
kids
know by
went to the same preschool, Montessori.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, actually, the Montessori is amazing. We met so many amazing parents there, and you know, they've become good friends. And
Shout out to the Montessori system. Yeah, my kids started there too.
Yeah, the kids are just much better for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we would like chat in the hall with our kids, like you know, trying to find the shoes and like put the hats on and be like, "You good? I'm not good."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And
Hey, the Montessori ways, they're supposed to put it on themselves.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right? Just a reminder.
Yeah, we're still working on that. That part didn't quite stick.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
It's a job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also O&B is very proud to be a caterer at Steam Whistle.
Yes.
So when Tanya took over, we got to work together more
Nice.
closely, and I mean, like I'm obviously going to pump your tires a bit, but I think the way you approach vendors, like you're just very fair, like you're just very inclusive and fair and kind, and I just love your approach. Like, I just think you're so fantastic. So yeah, we're really honored to be a partner, and we've connected through the pandemic. And again, it's usually just more like, you good, you know.
How you doing? Okay.
I feel like we're people who like would like to connect more if we had time. But of course, we're both very busy doing our things. So yeah, very honored and happy to.
That's amazing. Like, I want to ask a question. How important is it? Yeah. Because you guys, in theory, are competitors.
No,
we don't compete because I'm on her list.
Well, no, actually, we are competitors in
some
the
degree.
venue.
In the venue space, for sure.
But that's listen, to me, it's an amazing thing. Yeah. Because to me, I'm trying to unite industries. The reality is this: there's so much business out there, but everyone can help each other out. You know what I mean?
So when I hear the word competitor, it sounds like opposing.
Right.
It sounds like people are opposed.
For sure.
So during COVID, all the venue directors got together. Yep. And we had a video call every Friday.
Yes, I think we were part of one of those calls.
Consistently, every Friday for the past 2 years.
That's so amazing.
Over 10 venues.
You had like MLSC in there, you had a whole bunch of stuff in there.
There's a lot. And people would flow in, right? Like it was an open forum, and it was discussions, of course. Yeah. And it was a discussion on how COVID was impacting the business. We were trying to figure out, a consolidated way forward, build a strategy to how to reopen, effectively, and navigate through these vague restrictions that we couldn't really understand. But really, it was to support each other.
Okay.
Literally, sometimes we would get on that call and be like, "Okay, how you guys doing?"
That's amazing.
There were tears.
And I have always had referral programs with our competitors.
Right.
I don't consider them competitors. We have a finite amount of days. We have a finite amount of spaces.
Yes.
And if we're truly in the business of being in service of others, if a client comes to me with an event that I know is like putting a size 10 foot into a size 9 shoe,
right,
I'm going to do what I can to make sure that their event is amazing. And if it's not with me, it's going to be in one of Natalie's amazing venues.
Yeah, and that's fantastic because some people would just kill it right there.
Yeah, but that's the difference between a healthy environment.
Yes.
Right. This is a healthy environment we're fostering.
Totally.
Exactly.
And we have this opportunity now to reset the hospitality industry across the board. Now we've got this resource. You think that Friday afternoon call with all the venue directors is going to stop? It's not.
That's right. Yeah.
Because we now know the power of working together.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some history. So, forgive me for not knowing the exact groups of people, but there's been some enemy communities that have come together because of famine. Okay, they were fighting to the death.
That's true.
Until famine swept the land, and they said we got to work together to stay alive. Okay, and I think that there's an aspect of this that we've all kind of experienced. Yeah. What Constantine was saying, we've always been kind of big picture. It's just been, if the industry is really respected, and if it has a high standard, and it is really valued, then we'll benefit from it. So we've always tried to not push just the company, and even for this podcast, we're like, how do we give it another name? And it's not front and center aside from being on these stickers on the cups. Because even when we come in and we work in any of the venues of any of our clients, we're always about the client, not pushing us, because it's about the full experience. And we can say directly, when you're about the big picture, good things happen. Good things come from that, versus, and I think going kind of like how we started, serving. If you will, I guess, take the chance to serve and trust that other people will do it back, that they'll be good to you back, versus being, there's a whole other lane. Just gonna get mine. We're gonna dominate. We're gonna take out that competitor. Let's be opposing on purpose. Let's undercut, let's sabotage, does that exist in our industry?
Too much.
Yeah, too much. And we saw it, and then we kind of made a choice. Let them, respectfully, let them fight in that sandbox there, in this little one room. There's so much out there. There's so much, we're talking about developing programs directly with police agencies right now to tie them intentionally and to weave that into someone's path to go on from, hey, I think I want to be a cop, to helping them get there. And it's incredibly rewarding. It's completely new. It's never been done. On either ends, people are asking us, who do you guys think you are? Right? Why do you guys think you could do this? And we're not paying attention to try to get validated. We're just our heart is, this is good. Because we know the people in our teams that say, this is my dream to do this. So we're okay, how do we get them there?
Love that.
Kind of on that note, wanted to ask you guys, people through the pandemic have been shifting industries, right? Like, you know, the lawyer is now, working in a horse stable, and like people are like all over. You know, I have relatives that literally they went and they moved to a farm. They got out of the city.
Wow.
They were
a few people I know moved to Prince Edward County, and
they're
you
just
know
like,
a couple people in the industry.
They're gone now. Part of that is we've also felt, because you know our service is people, right? The experience is not just the bones, but it's the people that are in it. You know, they are what create the experience. As much as lighting is good, it's people that you connect with. What would you say to someone who has never worked in events, never been in hospitality, has been in maybe finance, has been in something completely, but they're looking, I need something, I got to break out the cubicle. I need to be around people, whatever. Like, and I think there's a shortage now, but I believe, you know, in my crystal ball, that there's going to be, people are going to want to be around people.
Yeah, I don't think that the industry is for everyone.
What would you say? What would you say to the person who is considering? And what would you say? What does events give you in your repertoire? And over your time, whatever it is, because you guys have learned so much in it. I mean, I love the way that you guys both talked about these really humble beginnings, right? Yeah. You know, catering, host. You know what I mean? I love those stories, because it means you value what it took to get where you are. If someone has never stepped into events, what would you say to them?
So I would say, go get a job in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, go work in a restaurant. Go be a server assistant and clear tables and reset them, and like fall in love with this business from the ground up.
Correct.
Because I truly feel that if you don't love hospitality, your career will be very short in events, because it's not in your heart, and it has to be in your heart. It's a very hard it's a very hard job, you know, and it's not super rewarding all the time, and I think it has to come from like just this deep commitment to serving, to food, to that whole like experience, you know, and it could be cater serving. It doesn't have to be in a restaurant, but I think it starts at serving and really just understanding the business from the ground up, right?
Yeah, you do. If you are coming from another industry and you've reached management level, don't expect a lateral move. Yeah. If you want to get into hospitality, you do. You have to learn it from the ground up. Yeah. And you know, much like if you shift to real estate, you're going to have to go back to work, back to school for a couple of years. You're going to have to take some education, and you're going to have to take a hit on your income. That's the truth of the matter. But if you don't have the heart, right? Like, I can only imagine, you know, navigating through the last 2 years. Natalie's had properties across Canada. How have you even managed to keep energies up? And I know you had to, you know, you had a huge roster of employees, and then all of that. That's not your home base. Halifax isn't your home base, right? But that heart kept driving you to continue to support the company and support the people, and you don't get that from school. You don't get that from, you know, having conversations with people.
That's right.
It's because you ate the bread, and that's all you ate all day on your double shift during Winterlicious.
It's something really practical. What does the environment of events give someone who hasn't been, like, what would you say? You know, just really quickly, really practical. Someone, you know.
I love going to work every single day. I love the hustle. When I 14-hour days work, I love every minute of it. I mean, it's hard.
Problem solving skills. For sure, because you can't say no. You have to say no, but I need to find a creative solution.
Or yes, and.
Yeah, like it's never just like, so definitely problem solving. I think, you know, organization for sure. Customer service. So managing clients' expectations when they're not happy. How do you make them happy? All of those things. Creativity, I think, is a great outlet for that, and being able to practice those skills.
I think just working through problems, right?
No day is ever the same.
No
day is ever the same. You are tapping into part of your creativity that you didn't even know was there. When you're doing a 250-person AGM and all of a sudden the city shuts down the water to the entire building, you got to figure out how to still serve that food, and where are people going to go to the washroom, and what, right? You got to deal with that in 15 minutes. That's you tap into a whole other level of problem solving and relationship management. How do you deliver that message to someone, right? So a lot of it also is about, you know, developing your own individual skills of how you handle stress, right? A lot of those things. So maybe in other industries, I might be a little bit more complacent in those areas because I'm not required.
Well, you said growth comes through stillness. It also comes through resistance.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You know, we do know that. So I think there's something about this unpredictable environment that is with people, right?
Yeah.
That it is going to require a lot of you. So I would say that, you know, if someone is looking to, if you've had 2 years to kind of hibernate and you had a chance for whatever reason, now's the time if you're going to really sink your teeth into something new. Events, we say it from our side, that you really learn a lot about who you are.
Yes.
How do you handle stress?
Yeah.
How do you handle stress repeatedly and pressure, like a constant thing? And you know, we've had people go on to being lawyers and go on to, you know, starting other businesses and you know, look at hospitality. If you were to ask people, how did hospitality help you get to? It's probably some incredible stories.
True.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think too for us, you know, we spend a lot of time re-looking at everything. So we restructured our team completely, where we're now focusing on developing our own talent internally.
Yeah.
So and not only that, but I find obviously, you know, diversity came to the forefront of you know, just our collective priority over the past few years, and I think our industry still has room to grow when it comes to, you know, we are predominantly female. There's just a lot of, and when I say industry, I think on like the venue sales side and stuff like that. So, you know, I think from my perspective, it's like, how can we take people from our restaurants and develop talent internally? So my strategy has completely changed, where we've created a new role that's like an administrative level. And really the goal is to bring these people up from our restaurants. Hopefully, you know, that's a mix of like males, females from all different walks of life. This is my utopian ideal. It will work. And then, you know, put them in this sort of administrative role where they're not client facing. They're learning the back end of what we do. They maybe are there for 6 to 12 months, and then we move them into a specialist role. And for us, because we're constantly in growth, we need to generate our own talent pool. And so I'm so excited about this, and I think it's just going to allow us to move forward more sustainably in terms of not constantly having to be like hiring external talent, and really being able to focus on our goals of having people who really like believe in our mission and what we're doing. And it also allows you to hire people without experience. Like, yes, you will take a pay cut. This job does not pay well. But there's a ton of opportunity if you work hard and you put your time in, and it's not a lot of time.
Well, they say
because we're growing.
You should never really take a job just for the pay. It's for how you develop. And I think on that note, you know, for those listening, that find a place that you can work, where you can develop. Where that actual work environment, they care in your personal goals. Be mindful that to have those personal days. Like, you know, we're kind of talking about like, just take care of people.
It's so true.
And then learn to take care of yourself. Be proud of what you do. Be proud of yourself. That's actually amazing.
And have fun.
I love that.
And like dance on a table.
There you go.
Done. The other
The other thing too is
not this one. This is glass.
No.
Have good partners. Be
Yes,
very mindful of your partners. Don't choose a partner because they're a little bit less expensive.
Right.
Right.
Okay, hold on. Give Tanya some time right now.
Sorry, wait,
what
was that now? No, but no, and I say that because during COVID, when we had to shut down, when events had to shut down, I was saying to my team, okay, let me try to find you an opportunity with one of our partners, with one of our vendors, and I would call, would call people up, and I would say, do you guys have a place? Like restaurants weren't closed when events were. Can you take my staff? They need an opportunity. And I have partners that we can do that with. And so if we can make sure that we're taking care of our staff, that means that we're also making sure that we have the partnerships in case we can't.
That's amazing.
Right? And, you know, like I know that I can call, and I have called Natalie, you know, often saying like, oh, do you have some advice on this? Or what about this? Or what do you think about this direction? Or, right? So it's, no one does it alone. We need to make sure that we are with partners that have our same zest, our commitment, our hustle, our love. And, you know, that's why we're sitting in this room today, having this conversation.
We quote Simon Sinek. You know, he has the author of Start With Why. And Constantine had a chance to do a conference of his in New York. And pretty life-changing. It was pretty cool, and we've all kind of benefited hearing. But he has this great quote: "Don't do business with people who need what you have. Do business with people who believe in what you believe."
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. you know.
Exactly.
So, yeah, thanks, Simon.
There's a lot of businesses in our industry. They pop up, they come up. They're you know, there's a lot of choices to choose from. Yeah. I have a very few caterers on my list. Very few.
Yeah.
I have the best.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I have one security company.
Yeah. Right.
No one else is coming in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Because we're the
Amazing.
gatekeepers.
Amazing.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Just joking.
Well, look,
And you look good.
thank
You're in
you.
suits,
Thank you.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Tanya, Natalie, thank you so much for coming down. We learned a lot
fun.
today. We learned a lot. I learned a
Awesome.
lot. And what's amazing is that we can look at this as a reset to move forward right now into an explosive future. Not 2022, because that's going to overwhelm everybody right now. We don't want to get but an explosive future where there's a lot of things happening. I think a lot of people are going to listen to this, especially those that are looking at tapping into the hospitality industry, the event industry, to be like, wow, this is what I need to do. Nothing is easy. It starts off with a journey, right? As we said, ground up. It takes a process. You can't just be like, I want to be at Natalie's position. I want to be at Tanya's position right there. That's what I'm applying for. Well, no, you have to know the industry. And we always tell people, know your goal. Know your goal. When you set your goal, know what that is before you actually start attempting to get towards it. Because if you don't know what it is,
You know what it requires of you.
yeah, you're going to
And understand what it is.
100%.
You know, I think so
What
often
it entails.
people are chasing titles and money. And
Yes.
I always say, like, I'm successful because I am living my truth. Like, I am this job, right?
That's it.
And I think if you're not in the right role and it's not aligned with your values and what you can really do, then that's going to impact your whole organization, right? So I think for me, it's so important, again, like the aces are in their places, that, you know what, you might be the best salesperson we have, but you can't manage people. So I'm not going to put you in a role that's going to, you know, affect so many people. I'm going to make sure I can just continue to invest in what you're really good at and make you feel like you're still moving forward and you're being compensated on all those really important things. And I think so often it's always just like, we're too, you know, it's linear. It's just
Too
like,
linear.
you go up, like, I say, like, this has to be a jungle gym. There has to be more opportunities outside of what you see in front of you. If there's a role that we all of a sudden think we need, then who can fill that role, right? And I think,
or do we need to separate that role into two to accommodate for the people that we have?
Exactly.
Use their skill set.
That's
Sure,
it.
yeah.
That's
It's
it.
all
Look
about
at the team from the people first as opposed to the roles. Where does this person excel? How
That's
can I
it.
continue to grow that?
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
It's so true.
I wanted to thank you guys both because it's kind of nice to hear a bit of your story, where you guys come from.
Yes.
But we know just you guys are high functioning. You're like highly intelligent and highly passionate people, and it's like we're in a lot of problems, and we have to talk, you know, with other people higher up in different tiers and companies, and there's a lot of ego, and there's like, you know, the right thing, even though everyone agrees, just sometimes doesn't get done because of saving the brand or saving face and all these other like, and I think it's great just to kind of see that you guys have the boldness and the bravery just to be about that truth about we're going to create the best thing, and we're going to fight for our team, and we're going to say no to certain things even though at right now the market's demanding it, or saying that like, no, making it obligatory, you guys should be doing this because they're doing this here, you know, but like you guys can, as difficult as it is, you can sign up every morning and be like, I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it again, because it's not, you know when it's manipulated and misconstrued through other things. And I think it's amazing to see that you guys, you know, that you are truly blazing a trail, and that you're bringing other people with you, and we're excited just to kind of see like where it grows and however we can help, and if there's ideas that you guys have, and you know, we know life's like that, the jungle gym of life, and it's so unpredictable. You guys might one day come and say like, hey, do you know someone in this industry? Oh yeah, that's actually, you know, through a cousin.
For sure.
Man, we keep finding like that's what makes it so unique, right? And when you're not so linear and not so tunnel vision, and you're not so just about me, me, okay, and you're not just a taker, but you actually say, I'm going to give every moment. Someone might call you up and say, hey, you know what? You know that thing you've been waiting, praying, and hoping for? I know who it is. I know what you need to do. And it falls in your lap. That's what saves Sentinel. Like we'll tell you guys like the full story another time. But literally, like at the point of tears, and like we have nothing left. Like a godsend came and said, it was literally like a raft that came as the Sentinel boat started to fall apart, and people were just.
Yeah, but what I find interesting is what you shared, you know, what your strategy was during COVID to kind of stay afloat. And what I find interesting is admiring, admirational, was that you said, how can I support the team? You invested on training. You focused on people as opposed to process, or how do I save this small piece that I have? No, you said, how do I make it bigger? How do I make more opportunities for people? Because you recognize that people will need support.
That's right.
And so that's a very different approach to take when you're at, rock bottom. Right?
Yeah.
Some people
Absolutely.
think of me, and some people think of we.
Right. It's true.
And so you came through all of that experience focusing on the we, and I think that's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Look, thank you. And to me, it's to me, all we can look at now is the future and what it has in store.
Yeah.
Why don't we do this? Let's do, just to end this, shout outs to the brands, right? So anybody wants to book an event at Steam Whistle, is it as simple as steamwhistle.com?
It's as simple as events@steamwhistle.ca.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it.
Go. Yeah.
There you go.
That's the email.
Good. I'll never forget that
Yep.
now.
Everyone and everyone on my team is dialed in on that email address, because we will get back to you. We will get back to you within sometimes a few hours, 24 hours, but that's the advantage of having a team that's so committed, is that if one person's not available, another person will pick up.
Amazing.
So events@steamwhistle.ca, that's your portal.
Okay.
Nice.
Into the roundhouse.
All right. Beautiful. Now, that about yourself. I know you obviously overlook many of these venues, but is it as simple as OMB.com?
It's super simple. It is oliverbonacini.com. I love the website because I think
it's a great website.
We're constantly educating people on who we are. You know, I think there's a lot of misconceptions about the brand, because of course the lovely O&B Cafe Grill at Yonge and Front, everyone's like, I'm into O&B, and we're like, have you? Have you heard of Rabbit Hole? That's us. And so we're in disguise a lot, which is cool. But yeah, definitely the website. There's a full events page. There's links to get to us, as well as events@oliverbonacini.com is sort of like the direct portal to booking an event.
And if you don't know how to spell it, just say it to Siri. Siri will figure it out.
Siri's got you.
Yeah, she's got
just
you back.
Try to spell bocconcini and see what happens. It'll come through for you. Michael's a celebrity enough that it'll figure it out.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So just check us out online.
Amazing. Well, look, thank you so much for coming down. It was for me, it was a big learning piece here, and it's nice to get to know you guys a little bit more.
You too, for sure.
Awesome.
Great. Thanks again.
We'll do it another time. In some way, maybe on location.
Maybe on location.
We talked about doing something on location, something really cool, something dynamic.
Well, we do this often. It's just there's no cameras.
Yeah, it's true.
Quite frankly, we have these conversations often.
On the phone.
In
the backyard.
I think that's been the recipe for people to really get that insight. It's access to what would normally be a private conversation on the go, on a whim. Now other people can be like, I'm going to listen in. I got insight. That's kind of why we did the Women in Policing event.
Nice, yeah.
Because we were having we kept saying like, man, people need to hear this right now. We would have talks on mentality and the mindset all the time, and we're like, that's why we did this podcast, so that people can kind of be, they can join it. So maybe we'll be a big audience or something. We'll do something.
Hopefully.
What do you think? Yeah, why not?
Take questions,
Exactly.
get feedback on what we could be doing better, how we could improve. I would love to see our team members in there, some of our clients. And 100% I would be open to that.
Okay. Amazing.
Well, we got lots of time to do this, and lots of
No, it has to happen quick.
We have no time.
I'm available on Thursday.
This is probably the last week we'll see each other for the next 2 years.
It's all good.
Okay. Well, again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll see where the future takes us.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Cut.
There you go. Perfect. Thank you, guys.
This podcast is brought to you by Executive Protection Lifestyle Canada. Make sure to drop by next week and don't forget to subscribe.